Hey guys, welcome back to another ni2 info video. In today's video, we'll be looking back into the ni2 info server, but we won't be solving any mysteries. Instead, I'm going to be naming and explaining every generation of ni2. First, let's look at the definition of generations. All of the people born and living at about the same time. Let's just change that to being active and we should be good to go. Perfect. Now let's talk about the first generation.
The first generation I want to cover is the current one, from September to now. I've decided to name this generation the Lumen Gen.
Now let me explain my reasoning. This generation was born during the dark period, but are closer to the light of the end of the tunnel, aka the game opening back up. A lumen is also the measurement of light, so I thought it was a pretty fitting name. I don't have too much to say about this generation since it's so new, but some prominent figures are the Gunnar brothers, aka Twin and Kuro, NBC Dewspire fan, who is VC grinding to try to get in, and Asa.
I know Asa's been around a long time, but she hasn't gotten active till recently, so.
Alright, moving on, we got my generation, or the generation before the Lumen. I'm calling it the Hadal generation, because if you don't know what a Hadal is, it's the layer below the abyss. So it's like the deepest part of the ocean. I'm calling it this because I want to say this generation was started when Rumi dropped that video on how to get in. Great video. Rocked the ni2 world. So I'm saying that's the start of this generation. If you were like a weekend before, I'll still put you in there. But that's the start. Because the game was open for about a couple weeks when this generation was founded. And so we saw the light for a little bit. And the rewrite happened. And just plunged us into the depths. Epilogue said the rewrite would take maybe, he said 2 weeks. He said it'd take 2 weeks. And here we are at month 8. 2 announcements from the admins that basically said nothing. Yeah. This is the generation, bro. We're in the depths, alright? We have nothing. There's no light, no hope, no nothing. This is also when all events ceased. But Notable was still obtainable. And over those 8 months, 3 people actually did obtain Notable. Meek Mills, Pans, and Silent Voice Fanboy.
These 3 notables earned the role all in their own way. Pans dominated the fan art channel for months. Silent stayed chatting when everyone else had given up. And Meek has stayed consistent through the entirety of the shutdown. They have all earned their place at the top.
There are a ton of names that come with this generation, so sorry if I forget a couple, but the most prominent are Rumi, me, Butter, Ray, Subs, Timeless, Glimothy, Sydney the fan art, Lycan. That's all that really comes to mind. You will also see the highest message counts from this generation. Since the game was down for so long, that's all that they could do, is chat and hope for Notable.
To sum this generation up as a whole, this is the deadest ni2 has ever been, the hardest it is to obtain Notable, and where the inflation is the highest.
But now we'll move on to the time before the Hadal generation. Now this next generation, I'll be dubbing the Verdant generation, which pretty much means green pastures and bright days. This was an era of activity, where the game was up and at its peak, but Notable still wasn't easy to obtain. You had people like Mig with almost 70k messages, people like Wraith, who's at the top of the leaderboard for a long time, and also Ellis, who to this day still makes fan art for the game. But on the other side of the coin, you also have people like C5 and Jess, who both have under 20k messages, yet got waived because others were getting kicked. You have people like Doodoo King, who won a wager, and the other 80 people who got in just from connections. I ain't saying they're the softest of the 3 generations, but they're not the toughest, that's for sure.
And now, for the last generation, this is going to be every single generation past the Verdant generation. Just the entire history of ni2 leading up to Verdant.
This last generation, I'm gonna dub the Obscura generation, just because it's obscure. All right, we don't know a whole bunch about it. It's very old. It starts at 2021. It's 2025 now, so yeah, there's not a lot of information on it. But some of the people who are still in the info chat that are part of this generation are like Bino, Molvich, Project, Tay, Fred, Maury. But besides that, we don't know a whole bunch about this generation. We don't know the people from this generation. It's just past the Verdant generation. That's all we really know. To sum everything up in this video, ni2 has seen a ton of stages and has maintained activity since 2021, and would not be the same place without each and every one of you guys. We shaped the history of this place, and always remember, we are getting wave.
The last man on Earth.